My wife left me for a rich guy, but nothing was what it seemed. I never thought I'd be the kind of man to share his personal life on the internet. But here I am. My name is Daniel, I'm 36, and until recently, I thought I had it all figured out. I married my high school sweetheart, Emily. We'd been together for over a decade, and for most of that time, I believed our marriage was rock solid. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. I worked a steady job as an electrician, and Emily worked part-time at a boutique. We had a small house in the suburbs, a reliable car, and dreams of starting a family someday. For me, life was good. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. But for Emily, apparently, it wasn't enough. It started small. She began complaining more about the bills, about how our friends were moving up in life while we stayed in the same house year after year. She scrolled Instagram every night, pointing out influencers traveling to Paris, driving new cars, wearing designer clothes. I told her what I always told her. Emily, that's not real life. That's filters and credit card debt. She would smile and nod, but deep down, I could feel her slipping away from me. Then came him. His name was Ryan. He walked into the boutique one afternoon while Emily was working, and from what she later admitted, he swept her off her feet instantly. He was tall, well-dressed, and drove a brand new Mercedes. He told her he was a venture capitalist, whatever that meant. He wore designer watches, talked about vacationing in the Bahamas, and dropped hints about his properties all over the country. Ryan made her feel like she was living in one of those Instagram posts she adored so much. At first, she didn't tell me about him, but I noticed changes. She started dressing up more for work. She stayed late more often. She guarded her phone like it was a state secret. I tried not to jump to conclusions, but in my gut, I knew something was off. Then, one night, she dropped the bomb. We were sitting at dinner, and she barely touched her food. I asked what was wrong, and she just looked at me with this coldness I'd never seen before. "Daniel," she said, "I don't think I love you the way I used to. I've met someone else." I swear my heart stopped. She didn't even try to soften the blow. She told me she was leaving, for Ryan. She said he could offer her the life she deserved. She told me I was a good man, but too simple, too safe. She wanted excitement. She wanted luxury. I begged her to think it over, reminded her of everything we'd built together. But she was already gone in her heart. A week later, she packed her bags and moved out. Friends and family were shocked. Most of them sided with me, but Emily brushed them off. On her social media, she started posting pictures with Ryan, fancy dinners, champagne glasses, and selfies in his car. The captions were nauseating. "Finally living my best life, never settling for less again." I was humiliated, angry, heartbroken. But part of me thought, maybe she had found something better. Maybe I really wasn't enough. Still, I tried to move on. I threw myself into work. I avoided looking at her posts, avoided asking mutual friends for updates. I told myself, Daniel, she made her choice. Let her live with it. But little did I know, Ryan wasn't who he said he was, and Emily was about to learn that the hard way.
When the truth about the rich guy came out, my wife wanted me back. A few months passed after Emily left me for Ryan, and I won't lie, they were some of the darkest months of my life. I'd come home to an empty house, see her old clothes still hanging in the closet, and feel like I was living in someone else's skin. Every now and then, I'd hear about her through mutual friends. "Oh, Emily and Ryan are always out at restaurants. She's been showing off a new purse. They're talking about buying a condo downtown." Each update cut me a little deeper. But then, the whispers started to change. One friend mentioned that Ryan never actually bought the dinners. He always forgot his wallet, and Emily ended up paying. Another said his Mercedes was constantly in the shop. And then someone else claimed they'd seen him working at a car rental place, not running businesses like he bragged about, but washing cars and filing paperwork. At first, I brushed it off as gossip, but soon the cracks began showing on Emily's social media too. The fancy dinners stopped, the flashy pictures slowed down. Instead of smiling selfies, she started posting vague quotes about fake people and lessons learned. Then came the post that made my jaw drop. A blurry picture of her crying in a bathroom mirror with the caption, "Never trust appearances. Some people are nothing but lies." Turns out, Ryan wasn't a venture capitalist. He wasn't rich. He wasn't successful. Everything, the car, the watches, the big talk, it was all smoke and mirrors. The Mercedes was leased under his brother's name. The vacations he bragged about, pictures stolen from other people's feeds. The watch, a knockoff he bought online. Emily had traded our steady, modest life for a fantasy, and that fantasy came crashing down. I'll admit, when I first heard the truth, I felt a wave of satisfaction. Call it karma, call it justice, but part of me thought, she made her bed, now she has to lie in it. But then, she came back. One evening, around 6 months after she left, I heard a knock at my door. When I opened it, there she was, Emily. No makeup, no designer clothes, no sparkle in her eyes. Just a broken woman standing on my porch. "Daniel, can we talk?" I didn't say a word. I just stepped aside and let her in. She sat at the kitchen table, the same table where she once told me she didn't love me anymore, and started to cry. She admitted everything. Ryan was a fraud. He'd strung her along with empty promises, used her credit cards, and when the money ran out, he disappeared. She'd been left with debt, humiliation, and no one to turn to. "I was so stupid," she said between sobs. "You were right all along. I wanted more and I lost everything. Please, I want to come home." Those words hit me like a truck. Part of me wanted to grab her and hold her, to forgive her and pretend none of this had happened. But another part of me, the stronger part, remembered the pain. The way she looked me in the eye and told me I wasn't enough. The way she flaunted her new life while I sat alone. So I asked her one question. "Why do you want to come back? Because you love me, or because you have nowhere else to go?" She couldn't answer. She just cried harder. And in that silence, I realized the truth. She didn't come back because she had rediscovered her love for me. She came back because she had burned every other bridge. I stood up, walked to the door, and told her, "Emily, I'll always care about you, but I can't be your safety net anymore. You chose him over me, and now I'm choosing myself." She begged, she pleaded, but I stayed firm. Eventually, she left. That night, I felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. Sadness for the woman I once loved who'd let greed and illusions destroy her. But relief because, for the first time in months, I felt free. Today, I'm still rebuilding my life. I've started focusing on myself, my health, even dating again. I'm not bitter. If anything, I'm grateful. Emily leaving showed me what I truly deserve. Someone who loves me for who I am, not for the size of my paycheck. As for Emily, I don't know where she is now. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents, trying to pick up the pieces. Maybe she'll learn from it, maybe she won't. But that's no longer my burden to carry. Because at the end of the day, I may not be rich in money, but I'm rich in something much more valuable: self-respect. And that's something no one can take away from me.